With the Detroit Lions training camp starting next week, we have 3 players who could be surprise cuts when it's all said and done. Let's talk about it. Hi, it's Mike Payton from A to Z Sports Detroit. Today we're going to talk about 3 players who could be surprise cuts by the end of training camp. Let's jump right into it with Brock Wright. Now, we know Wright has been the tight end 2 for this team for a few years, kind of has a propensity to have this big play once a year. Everybody loves Brock. Decent pass blocker, okay run blocker. The thing is, maybe the guys that they got this offseason could be better at what Brock's specialty is supposed to be. And I'm looking in the direction of Kenny Yeboah, who's a really good pass blocker, strong run blocker, can be a pass-catching tight end, or at least he showed that in college that he has that ability to do that. Hasn't really done that in the NFL yet. And then I'm looking at Zach Horton, who's a guy I think is going to make the roster anyways, mostly just based off of he may be the best run-blocking tight end on this team right now, and he's just a rookie, and I'm saying he's better than Laporte, he's better than Wright, Yeboah, Zylstra, all these guys. And really good pass blocker too, but I think the thing that kind of makes him edge other guys out is he has the ability to play fullback as well, which the Lions don't have and probably don't want to really have on their roster per se. They probably don't want to take up a roster spot with a fullback, and they probably don't want to use Malcolm Rodriguez or Grant Stewart in that position if they don't have to. And here's a guy that prevents them from doing that. Now, it's going to take both Yeboah and Horton to really show up this summer to get Brock Wright out. But if that happens, I don't be surprised if Brock Wright's no longer with the team or gets kind of demoted down to the practice squad. The next guy is wide receiver Khalif Raymond. I love Khalif Raymond. You love Khalif Raymond. Everybody loves Khalif Raymond. But at the same time, it's very obvious that last year the Lions kind of channeled him out of their offense. He did spend some time on the injured reserve. That's fine. But even when he was on the field, they just really didn't have him do much offensively like he had in 2023, 2022, or 2021. He was a much bigger part of the offense. But last year was the least he had ever done offensively. And I think a large part of that is because they brought in Tim Patrick and he kind of became their wide receiver 3. And they really wanted to have Khalif focus on being that return man on special teams and punts and kicks and all that. But now you look at it and he's even deeper on the depth chart because there's Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's Jameson Williams, there's Tim Patrick, as we mentioned before, there's Isaac Tesla. That's kind of pushes Khalif down. And then there's 7th round pick Dominic Lovett. That's what the Lions want him to be, that special teams gunner, that return man type of guy. If he can come into camp and show that he's ready to do that now and as opposed to later, that's going to kind of make them look twice at Khalif Raymond and say, well, he's a free agent next year. Why don't we let him go play somewhere else? I think it's a real possibility. I think it's one that you got to pay attention to, and we'll see what happens there. The last one is DJ Reader. Now, he's probably the safest guy on this list that we have. But when you look at it, the Lions can save about $11 million if they were to let him go. That'll help during the season with in-season transactions and all the things that the Lions want to take care of. It'll also help with the big contract that we're still waiting to see Aiden Hutchinson get. But then you kind of look at that defensive line, it's really deep. It's Roy Lopez, Levi Onwuzurike, and Tyleik Williams, and then eventually Ali McNeil will come back. Mekhi Wingo's there. There's a really good set of guys there that you think, hey, maybe you could save a little bit of money, and DJ's kind of been trending downward in the way that he's been playing lately. What if we kind of cut our losses at the end of camp, save some money, and went with one of these younger guys? It's a possibility. Like I said, I think he's the safest guy on this list, but kind of galaxy braining out there, that's what I think is a possibility. Let me know what you guys think about these 3 players in the comments, and we'll see you next time.